A lot of tree service owners skip job descriptions or defining the roles, the key performance indicators, the evaluation criteria on which they determine whether somebody is doing a good job or a bad job, because we're all just trying to move too fast. I think it comes to a problem with not thinking about second order consequences because you're worried about the fires that are in front of you. If we took a time to slow down and define people's roles, responsibilities, create checklists, safety checklists for how every job needs to roll out, adding the notes and details into the CRM for the kind of equipment that needs to be on the job. By slowing down, you actually get to speed up because the fires that you're so accustomed to putting out start to disappear. Most owners thrive in that chaos. Whether they want to acknowledge it or not, they are sick of like running from here to there and everywhere, and they get kind of burned out doing that. But it also comes with a huge sense of pride because they feel like they're indispensable to the company or the vision that they've created, which is true, but your vision requires you to be working on like the highest level tasks. The fact that you're the only one who knows where key equipment is a problem. The fact that you personally have to receive a phone call about individual job updates and your people don't know like proper procedure to problem solve when something goes wrong, that's a problem. When you go to hire your first ops manager, your job is effectively to minimize the number of times my phone rings. Like, I trust you to handle things in my stead. By thinking along those lines, if we slow down and define the expectation for people, that's the best thing that we can possibly do for ourselves, because then when they understand what success looks like and we understand what success looks like, they can actually achieve it. When we change the bar of what success looks like on a whim from a day-to-day basis, not only are those people going to be sick of us and burned out, but we're also going to end up creating all these fires and additional problems and complications that come with running a business. And then as owners, we like to bury our head in the sand sometimes and be like, wow, I didn't expect that or see that coming. But the reality is, if we had taken a little bit more time on the front end before we brought that person in to understand what kind of skills are required, what is the job expectation, when they ask for a raise, they want to make more money, or they're looking to level up in their career, we don't have to scramble to find or create a way for that person to advance. And that helps with retention. Slow down, define the right candidate. What are all the functions of your crew? And think about the soft skills too. You know, as a marketer, something that's near and dear to us is you got to get Google reviews. You have to talk to the neighbors. You have to ask customers if they know anybody else that we could also serve. You can meet the physical requirements of the job and you're willing to show up. But if you want to run a world-class company, you need to have world-class people working in your organization. And so you're either going to need to A, hire for those skills, or B, have a method to train for those skills over time when you find somebody who's a good culture fit. But you won't even know where to start or where the gaps are unless you slow down and take the time to define what those requirements are or what those skills are for a salesperson or an operations manager. Too often we end up acquiring people, meaning we don't know who to trust. So we just grab the nearest person in our sphere of influence. Maybe it's your mom or your cousin or somebody, a good friend that you've known for like 10 or 15 years. And this becomes a double whammy because one, you haven't clearly defined the expectations of what good or bad looks like. So you're putting your relationship in strain and in jeopardy when you're hiring that person and bringing them in and not clearly defining what you expect from them. But two, you don't even know if that person can do the job well or not. They might be super capable in A and B, but if the job requires C and they've never done it before, they have no idea what C even means, you hired that person to do A, B, and C, but you'll quickly find yourself doing C as the owner. We acquire people that we trust, we bring them in because we trust them, and then we don't have to take a chance on somebody new, and we don't have to worry about building that trust outwardly. But almost always that's the wrong approach, because then we end up acquiring people who don't have the right skill set and compromising or building our business around them. When you want to go to hire somebody, you have to clearly define like what skills do they need to have? What are we expecting them to do on the job? What does good look like? What does great look like? What does really bad look like? What are my non-negotiables? And then you can go out and look for somebody who both fits the culture, who you can grow to trust over time, but most importantly, has the skills necessary to take those tasks or take those fires off your plate. Right? Then that frees you up as the owner to work on something else, building out the second or third crew, hiring for leadership, spending more time on marketing and advertising, spending more time on networking, building relationships with other businesses and referral partners. Those are really like high leverage, high value activities that as an owner you should be working on. You shouldn't be backfilling for somebody on your team because you hired them to do A, B, and C, but they can't do or don't understand C because you never took the time to define it.